joined by Aditya Singla, who's a jet plane expert. Mr. Singla, I would like to start by asking you, one of the things that a lot of people at the moment are talking about is the safety of the aircraft. Do you believe this ATR-72 was a very safe passenger aircraft, and it does not seem like, from what the initial investigations at least are pointing towards, the fact is that everything was fine, whatever happened, happened in the last 10 seconds?
See, I think ATR is a very reliable machine, and these aircrafts are flying in India and all across the world for a very long time now. And but I think what happened today is with the Nepal terrain, the weather of Nepal, terrains of Nepal. So that was the major issue, I feel. And yeah, ATRs are very good. Like in India, they are flying with almost all the airlines except XYZ. And if you see, like there are very less instances of ATR crashing.
So you believe the aircraft per se was a very safe aircraft? Definitely something could have gone wrong, and because the plane crashed barely 10 seconds before landing. That is what the initial reports at the moment are pointing towards. In your opinion, how many ways does a pilot actually have if something like this happens, especially given the terrain? A lot of people are now pointing towards the fact that this entire runway, this entire stretch from Kathmandu to Pokhara is extremely narrow, very difficult. Do you think terrain also plays a huge role given these kind of crashes?
See, I will give you an example of India. Like if we talk about India, there's a place, Shimla, right? In Shimla, only certified pilots can fly, right? Nepal's terrain is worse than that. Like all airports are like on the high terrain, and there's Mount Everest also, and then like on the airport, airstrip, I'm saying, they have a tabletop runway also, right? So that becomes very difficult for a pilot to land safely. And if you see the runway strip there, right? There's a very less space for the aircraft to land. So
right.
That is also one thing. And due to trains, they cannot, extend it more.
Mr. Singla, VN Jha is also with us on the story. Mr. Jha, you were also pointing towards the fact that the aircraft per se is very safe. A lot of those are flying across the globe. Definitely what one now needs to look at is the black box. But in your opinion, what needs to be done? This is something which happens globally. It's not something which only takes place in Nepal. What are the top two things, according to you, that the authorities now need to look into, the airlines specifically also now need to look into, so that the number of crashes need to come down drastically? Mr. Jha.
Look, what right now is required is the rescue. That rescue has to happen. In that rescue, first the human part could be there, then the black box, the cockpit voice recorder, those could be located, and then the initial fact-finding team will go there to the spot just to see what is the reason for the preliminary sort of view of the entire accident. You have given us some indication that what has happened in the air traffic control, that the pilot was in control of the aircraft. Then what has happened in the last few moments? So that is where we are suggesting that the engine failure, if it happens, or even if the engine goes on the fire, catches the fire, one engine or both engine, pilot has time to communicate to the air traffic control that I have fire on board here, the engines are on fire. One engine is on the fire, he extinguishes that engine, and then he goes over fire onto the other engine. But then suppose if the other engine also catches fire. But this is too much of possibility. I told you in the beginning, in the twin engine aircraft, especially turboprop, something like that, both engine failing together is a very, very rare phenomenon. Of course, it can happen. But here the aircraft has gone out of control. Now here comes what you have given us the feedback, that there are reports that there was a fire. Whether that
right.
fire was the engine fire, or whether it was an explosion in the compartment, in the luggage compartment or somewhere else. If that was there, that one single explosion can knock out lot of control systems, including the RT. That can be knocked out.
Right.
So
Mr.
those
Jha,
possibilities are
this
there.
question I will take to Mr. Singla. Mr. Singla, what Mr. Jha is saying is the fact that both the engines failing is something which is very rare. But do you
Yeah.
believe there is a possibility of both the engines also failing?
Yeah, there can be a possibility. It's a technical issue, and we should wait for the black box. I hope they find the black box first, and after the investigations, like we can surely say about that. Yeah, but engine failure might be an issue. Yeah.
So the black box now becomes the key. But black
That
box is,
becomes the
black box, in all the crashes, black box becomes the key. It is not, the authorities obviously will now make sure once the rescue operations are over, that they find it and they see the recordings to understand what exactly happened in those last 10 seconds. Mr. Singla, in your opinion, though it is very unfortunate, there are very few survivors in these kind of crashes. We have the visuals on our screens. Do you believe it will be very difficult for the passengers, for anyone to actually survive a crash like this?
I don't think so. It's very unfortunate what has happened. So yeah, there's very less possibility that any survivor will be there, and that will be a miracle, I feel.
You believe, those, if anyone survives, so those who survive, they will be extremely lucky in these kind of crashes. In your experience, you believe, the death toll is very high.
Especially in these kind of crashes. It's very unfortunate.
Mr. Shah, I would like to come to you. You were also speaking about the fact that there are some things that the pilot can do. Also, do you think globally now there needs to be a set of rules that needs to be, that all the authorities need to now follow? Some things that the pilots also need to be taught. We are seeing a lot of these crashes taking place globally.
Look, there is no dearth of policies. All sort of policies are there. And every time there is one aircraft accident, after the aircraft accident investigation, some sort of recommendations go in, and those recommendations are also filed into the similar sort of policy. And I must, caution you one thing here. Even if the black box is found here today, in another, say, few minutes or few hours, that black box may not be analyzed in Nepal. That black box may have to be flown to the country of the origin where this aircraft was made, because not every industry is able to look into the parameters of the black box. It depends on where it has to go and what is the status of the black box. So it's not going to be immediate, sort of feedback to us or to the media what exactly has happened. Cockpit voice recorder is one thing that can tell you instantly that what has happened in case if those noise, voice or conversation between the two pilots have been there in the cockpit. That will give you the immediate preceding facts in the cockpit. So all these are there, and that is how it has to be gone. As far as the policies are concerned, pilots' flying skills are concerned, we should not doubt the flying skill. But again, I told you, Nepal aviation safety record is slightly not unblemished. One has to introspect Nepal's safety records. So various things are there, as the pilot was trying to tell you, our co-panelist was trying to tell you, that usually pilot at the approach, they are tuned to, they are skilled to land onto such runways, such tricky runways. It is always there. And mind you, Nepal, these two, Pokhara and the international airport, it doesn't come within those 10 most trickiest of the airport in the world. They are far more trickier airport. Even we have got, Mangalore, that is known as a tabletop runway. There are many other tabletop runways. So those things happen. And once that is safe for the aviation operations, then only it is cleared for the passenger flight.